Sorry about that. The batteries in my camera died. But we didn't really lose anything. Again, my axles boxes are put together, and right now I got my control arms separated out where they need to be. I'm going to, it doesn't matter which side or front back you start on, don't matter. But go ahead and start with by putting your dry bearings back into your hubs. They just pop in there. You have to do this to all four, like so. Okay. Just like that. And pop in the bearings. They're dry, so there's no need to put any grease on these. They just hold in your axle bolts. So there's no need to put any grease on these whatsoever. Okay. Got the two backs done. Let's go ahead and move to the fronts. Just pop them in. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Good. Last set of bearings here. There we go. Now that we got the bearings in, we can start putting in our shaft bolts. These slip onto the tires. Once you get the hex nuts on there and the little steel pins, they slide on right like that. Like those tires, they're alright. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting better ones, but they do a pretty darn good job at stuff. So I slip the rod in through my bearings. Okay. Grab a steel rod, doesn't matter which one. Slide it in there, like so. Now on the back side of your nut, there's a little slot where this rod seats into. Slide it over your bolt. Make sure they're both even on both sides, and push it on there. Okay? Easy as that. It doesn't matter which bolt you put in at all, just as long as they're in there. Be careful not to lose these pins, because this is the #1 part that keeps your wheels in motion, which puts power going through the wheels. Without these, your drive shaft will just spin, and so will your nut, your bolt right here. It'll just spin inside the tire. Oh, we're coming through. Putting them in. Okay. And make sure they're in all the way. That way you don't have to run into silly problems that might occur. Good. last hex bolt sliding on there like usual. Cool, now we got the bearings in. Now we can start by putting the control arms, mounting them onto the body on the frame. Doesn't matter, again, it does not matter which front, back, side you do first. Don't matter at all. Now, on the bottom side of your control arm, a steel rod slides right through there. That's what holds your bottom control arm to your frame. And then the bumper, bottom side of the bumpers, they come on, and that's what holds them on there. So, start by slipping these guys through, seating them in the hole that they come in, like so. There we go. Now, you can grab your bumper, go ahead and install it on the back side, and make sure the holes are lined up, just like so. See? Right here is where it connects it. Go ahead and fit your screws in there. I've been watching my buddy's show, DJ Medic at RC Sparks. Pretty cool site. I admire him a lot. He kind of got me into doing the actual RCings instead of the remote controls that we used to use when we were young. Oh, we're getting our bumper attached on here. Again, you kind of want to adjust these screws on here. That way all your plastic moves decently free. There we go. There we go. Cool. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and start by taking out one of your drive shafts right here and go ahead and stick them in the slots where they need to be. It doesn't matter where they go. If they're bent or torqued, you're better off moving them to the back sides where there is no steering. I have a bent drive shaft here that was on the front side, and it kind of warped a little bit, so I moved it to the back. It's fine. Go through, connect your screw for your upper control arm that mounts onto the side of your axle box. Just like so. Again, same thing. Stick them in there. Now, do not put any grease where your axle heads meet into the axle holes on right where they connect to the bearings, you know. You use dust, gravel, dirt, stuff like that is going to be built up inside there, and it will slow stuff down and it'll wear stuff down also. So just a little reminder and tip. I already found that out. Sweet. We got the back control arms on. As you can see, running pretty smoothly. See that? You want them to float down all by themselves without the shocks on them. That way you know that they're not snug, but they're loose. Now we can run to the front axle arms. Same thing, you got the 2 steel pins. Okay. Slide in through here. Match them up with a little hole. Do both sides. Now it's on the front control arms, steering unit here. It's easier to go ahead and mount the bottom ones first and then stick your drive shafts in. That way you can still pull the upper control arm out enough to get it loosened up enough so you can stick it in there. I found that out to be a little easier. Go ahead and stick on the bumper here. Yeah, now it's looking like something, isn't it? Cool. Got that on. I'm going to start putting my screws in now. They mount on the front bottom side of the bumpers. Screw these bad boys down. Again, you don't want them too tight, but you want them loose enough to where everything moves freely without any of the shocks on. Just kind of tighten them down to where they're almost snug. Try moving stuff and then back them back out just a little bit. There we go. Now that we got the front bumper on, we can come through and take out the screws on the steering box here that connect the tie rods. Okay. Cool. Now these, you want to make sure they're snug up against it. And the front control arms can be a little confusing at times, especially if you're not used to doing this every time. I know I wasn't. Got one more screw to take out to put the tie rod back on. And then we can move in onto putting the front drive shafts on. Just like so. Cool. Coming through here, put the drive shaft on. You may have to turn it just a little bit to lock everything in. Just like so. Do the other side. Like so. Now there's two long bolt screws. Okay, they're only threaded a little bit on both sides. These are for the front top control arms. Again, you don't want to make it so tight that it does not move freely. Kind of get everything lined up here. There we go. Cool. Come through here. As you can see me doing that, I'm tightening down the upper control arm screws for the fronts. That's the long bolt looking screws. Okay. Again, if you want to use a little power drill on these, you can, but make sure that you set it to the lowest